Shri Gurubhyo Namah Harihi Om. Om Prataragnim Pratarindragum Havamahe Pratar Mitra Varuna Pratarashvina Pratarbhagam Pushanam Brahmanaspatim Pratas Soma Mutarudragum Huvema Pratarjitam Bhagamugragum Huvema Vayam Putramadhiteryo Vidharta Adraschityam Manyamanasturas Chityam Bhagam Bhakshityaha Bhagapranetar Bhagasatyarado Bhage Mam Dhiyamudavadadannaha Bhagaprano Janayagobhirashvair Bhagapranrabirnravantasyama Utedanim Bhagavantasya Prapitva Utamatye Anhaam Utodita Maghavan Suryasya Vayam Devanagum Sumato Syama Bhaga eva bhagavagum astu devastena vayam bhagavantasyama tantva bhagas sarva ijjo havimi sano bhagapura eta bhaveha samatvara yoshaso namanta dadhikrave vashuchaye padaya Arvachinam vasuvidam bhaganno rathamivaashvavajina avahantu Ashvavatir gomatirna ushaso niravati sadamucchantu bhadrah Gratanduhana vishvatah prapina yuyam pata swastibhis sadanaha Yo ma akne bhaginagum santamata bhaganchikirishati Abhagamakne tam kuru mamakne bhaginam kuru Om Bhagyadevataye Namaha. And if you wish, slowly, you may open your eyes again.
If you want, you can come more to the front.
It's allowed. So yesterday we spoke about how yoga is, the real state of yoga is that state of being established in your own nature, in yourself, without getting swayed away by thoughts, emotions, situations. We spoke a bit about silence. We spoke about many things, of course. We did a Shiva mantra also. And that is, they say Shiva was the Adi yogi. He was the first yogi. There are many stories in the Puranas about his qualities. And these stories, they have a symbolic meaning. They teach us about the nature of the world, our life, our mind, our consciousness. And there Shiva represents the universal consciousness, you can say the substratum within which this whole creation has manifested. And that's why they say he is like the space. They say Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya. His body is all-pervading like space. Just like everything that we see, even this universe, the ball, the earth, the sun, the moon, all of that, it's in the space, right? So it manifests or it exists in the space. But there is this beautiful duality within this non-duality. We're speaking about Vedanta also, Advaita Vedanta. We had some nice questions from you yesterday, some of which we'll go into more today, about this challenge that, okay, on one hand, if you say, okay, everything is one, or these questions came up yesterday also in some of the other sessions, with Rupert Spira and Swami Sarvapriyananda and some of the other speakers as well. It's very complicated. And then some traditions or some people say, okay, yes, just, world is no good, useless, anyway doesn't exist. Why bother with it? Or it's just very troublesome. Same sometimes they say about the body, or about the mind, kill the ego. But in these stories, Shiva is not alone. When creation, when everything happens, by his side is Shakti, is the Divine Mother. And they say Shakti is what manifests. Like how the mother gives birth, gives life, creates. So this whole creation is nothing but a form of Shakti, of that cosmic divine energy. And that is the play, the dance between Shiva and Shakti. And Shiva doesn't disregard her or ignore her, rather it's the other way around. Shiva's just sitting and she's the one who gets him to, you can say, to live more, to experience. So we thought today also we'll speak a little bit about how, even though on one level there is a non-dual field of consciousness, on another level it is a play and display of that consciousness, which is like a dance. There is a manifestation. It's not that it doesn't exist. There is a world.
And just like we did the mantra yesterday, Om Namah Shivaya, you want to do a mantra for Devi Ma.
Do you want to start with that? Shall we do that?
Yes, let's
What do you think?
her.
So yesterday we did a mantra for Shiva. Together we can do a mantra for Shakti today. For the Devi, Durga. Before we start gossiping about her, we'll first invite her nicely. So the mantra, would you like to share? Yeah.
I think it's nice if you imagine we have a live diya today. So to imagine the fire inside of you that is in your abdomen, and be reminded of her energy, of the manifestation.
Yeah.
Because whenever you do a mantra, it's not only about the words, right? It's about how you pronounce it with the love, the silence in between. I mean, you can say the whole day, Ram, 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 Ram. But if you say it one time with all your heart, like Ram, then there's something happening inside.
Mhm.
So let's chant like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very important. It reminded me of something. You know, um, as a mother, I can say as a parent, but especially the moms, the mothers, you know, right? When a child is calling you, no, you may be busy, and sometimes they just whatever they want something, this, that, or. But if the child really calls out from the heart, either because they really miss you or because they're in pain or some problem or something, the mother immediately knows, yes or no, right? There's a difference in the voice or in like you catch it. Sometimes you may be busy, okay, yeah, they're calling this, but then you drop everything and you run, right? So exactly like what Rowena was saying, the whether it's your own consciousness or life force energy or the universal consciousness or the divine knows exactly when you're calling from the heart or when you're chanting from that space, or if you're just doing it mechanically, planning your day, or because you feel you have to or should. Or so let's see if we can do it like that. There's a beautiful mantra: Om Durga Devye Namah. Om. Can you repeat once? Om Durga Devye Namah. So we'll do this few times together. You can close your eyes, you can chant along. And like Rowena was saying, the fire that is in you, the digestive fire, the prana, the life force energy, as if you're kindling that fire, the Shakti in you, waking her up a little more. And see how it feels. Om Durga Devyai Namah. 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 Om Durga Devye Namah. Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. So life, the life force in us is Shakti, is that divine cosmic energy. And we all carry that within us. And that's also everything we see around us. So the more we are able to recognize that, acknowledge that, then that is what allows us to experience that on one level everything is one. Whether it is the plants, the trees, but even the objects, no? Anything that has manifested. There is a whole philosophy that explains it in the Vedic tradition. We'll not go into that now, but how from that Shakti everything has manifested, the 5 elements, cosmic elements, and how from that again, combinations, permutations. Those who have heard the terms, the words of the gunas, no, rajas, sattva, tamas, how everything, how it expands. This whole creation has expanded. And that is why the world is not a bad thing. Emotions are not a bad thing. The mind, our body, they're all forms of that same cosmic energy.
Yeah, yesterday I heard something interesting.
We heard many interesting things. Yes.
But something that really triggered me. Like, I heard like the body is like a servant. And I was like, really?
Servant of the mind.
Servant of the mind,
Yeah.
yeah. Because we often treat the body like that, right? When you don't feel like it, you push yourself, you force yourself. But the body is always at your service, but you don't need force. And the mind, just like the Bhagavad Gita says, it can become your friend or your enemy. And you have a choice. Why should you control the mind? The mind is also a part of you. Why should you control the body? There is a life force inside of us, which is beyond our own imagination. Just like we talked yesterday, sometimes we think something is very good for us. So whenever you do a prayer and you want something, add a little sentence like, God, this is something that I really want. But if you have something better for me, because we think the things that are the best for us, we think that because of our experiences, right? We feel a gap, something empty, and we think, okay, something will fill up this gap. And the way I see desires, like I don't know how many of you have children, but if you have a child, and if you would ask the child, what do you want to eat today? You can pick today. It would not pick the vegetables.
Usually not.
No.
Candy.
Candy.
Chips.
Pancakes.
Yeah.
And then the child would be really agitated, restless because of all the sugar. And that's also a way you can see the mind. The mind is going outwards continuously to feed himself or herself with sugar. And then it gets really restless. Therefore, we talked about nourish your mind. The mind really wants some rest. I mean, the body needs activity in the body. But the mind is so conditioned to go out there. Yesterday we were looking at the birds.
Have you seen the big birds? I don't know
It's
which.
so
If it's not
beautiful.
an eagle, probably, but it's. Oh, they're called red kites. Yeah, they're just circling around here. So beautiful.
And it's beautiful because what you see is that they first have to do some effort to fly, and then they just go through the air
Yeah,
effortlessly.
they glide and.
Yeah. And the same way, like, because we are so conditioned to go outward, if you take the effort to go inward, and that's why sadhana is so important. Not only during the meditation, but just like they said yesterday, during the day, when you open your eyes, you are still aware.
Yeah. That is the actual practice, no? Of being in a state of yoga or meditation or awareness, consciousness, mindfulness, whatever you want to call it, sitting on a yoga mat or on a chair or in this tent, we meditate for some time, or you do your practices, and then you may feel very zen or nice or peaceful. But then going out into the world, into activity, if you're able to maintain that state, that is when it is actual peace. That is the test of it. That is why, yesterday also we had some questions, some people came up to us afterwards as well. They say, oh, but if we follow all these and we detach from everything, how can we be successful in the world or do our things? Because then people have this concept, you live a very inert life, or there's apathy, but no, detachment, that is not detachment. No? The word in Sanskrit is vairagya. This passion, they translate it often, but it's actually, it's not the lack of passion, it's this a special type where you are so focused, you're so, not focused also, you're so centered.
You're
In your
actually
being.
totally involved. Like,
Yeah.
we all know Krishna, right? Krishna
Maybe we've
was
heard of
like
him, yeah.
involved in everything, what he did. As a dancer,
Yeah,
as a lover, like he was there.
as a warrior.
As a warrior, he was among the people. So detachment doesn't mean you're like cold and you just don't attend life anymore. And yes, there is duality, non-duality. But these are all words, right? What is here is here. And even if this is all a dream, why do you want to wake up? Imagine, like Shiva wants to experience himself through Shakti. And Shakti is there, gives the experiences. We come here as a human form to experience consciousness. How to wake up.
Yeah, it's a unique opportunity. Even in the scriptures they say this is the biggest blessing you can say, and it's very difficult to get. A human birth. The first is a human birth. They say three things are very difficult in the Upanishads. First is a human birth, because look at all the life forms. All the species of animals, of plants, of microorganisms. So out of all of those options, becoming a human being itself is rare, they say. So don't take it for granted. value it. It's very precious. And then second, as a human being, to become aware that I am here for more than just eating, sleeping, maybe working and then dying. You know? Because still, if you see that's how many, it's the conditioning of animals, and they have their fixed patterns to sustain life. And some humans also maybe living like that. Their main focus is that. Maybe have the breakfast, go to work, come home, have some tea, watch TV, whatever, go to bed. And they may be content to some level in that. That's what they know, they're okay with that. But then at some point they say, when the consciousness matures, then you realize, but there must be more than this. Like a cow is happy chewing the same grass every day. And then re-chewing it also, they have those extra stomachs. But we say, it's very boring.
But I think sometimes we do it too.
Definitely.
With memories or things we
Definitely,
relive from the
yeah.
past, like we chew on it.
So we keep doing the same things until you become aware, but it's the same thing. So exactly like you said, not just food, not just your habits or your relationships or your work or your Netflix series, but even the same thoughts, the same patterns, whether it's irritation or what you desire. And then there comes a point where you wake up a little and you look and you say, but it's the same thing all over again, so boring.
And you think you are fed up with the people around you.
Yeah.
But actually you are fed up with your own thoughts that are keep repeating themselves.
Yeah. So that is such a blessing, to become aware that I am here something more. And then you start asking those questions. Who am I? What is this? What is life? What is the purpose? What many of you have been asking, how to find that purpose. That means you're in that second group, which is even smaller. You become a human being, that's amazing. Then you're even part of that select few that start seeking for these answers. And the Shakti wakes up more. She wants to go back to Shiva. And then, the third, even more rare than they say, is to find people or a path or where you can get these answers to actually reach there. Because many people may be searching. There may be so many people in London right now who have this restlessness inside, but they don't know where to go. How many people have landed up here? Not that this is the only place, but still, something has propelled you, that life in you that's, yes. And you have so many options here to find something that clicks, resonates with where you are right now, towards that goal, like what Rowena was saying, to realize your true nature.
Yes, and yesterday somebody asked me, I would like to know, what is the goal of life? What if the goal is life itself? Living.
Truly living.
Truly living.
Living fully.
Dancing like you did yesterday. Crying when you feel sad. Feel your anger, don't suppress it. Are we being taught how to deal with emotions or how to sit with your emotions, how to feel with it?
No, usually not. Not in school, yeah.
So I found out that when I thought okay, let's sit with my emotions, that I was not actually with my emotions, I was analyzing it. I was I'm angry. And then the story came up to justify it. But this and this happened. But I was not with my emotion. I was not feeling it. So what if you could just stay with whatever comes in your life? To really feel it, to be with it. Just be is to be with whatever comes.
Isn't that such a great news that actually, if you want to experience that state, if you want to really be established in being, then all you need to do is just be in the moment fully. We hear so many people speak about that challenge of bringing the mind to the present moment. It goes to the past, to the future. Most of the time, we are either planning, or we're anxious about something, or we are chewing again on what has happened, why this happened to me, or this should not have, or whatever it may be. You're not really being fully with what is. And yesterday we spoke about this a little bit, that state of yoga or being is the one thing that does not require anything. To be is the one thing that doesn't need you to do anything. You cannot even do it. You are, whether you like it or not, whether you're aware of it or not. Are you not? Right now, you are. There is this feeling. In session yesterday also, people spoke about this. People asked that this is one thing that nobody can refute also. That whatever people say, deep down inside right now, you know that you are. You exist, you are. Is it not? Is there anyone here who does not have a sense of being somewhere deep down inside? Irrespective of who you are, what you are, where you are. That is one thing, yes.
So when people say be yourself,
Yeah, that's an interesting thing if people say be yourself, because how could you not be anyone but yourself?
If the S is with a big S, like the self. No, of course, we all have like an own identity, right? Authenticity, that is something that comes from the ego. So that is something to be aware of it. Like, we all have something unique in this world. And it first starts that you try to find, okay, what are my talents? What is it that I like as a person, as an identity? That is often the journey you have, right? Because we all have something to give to the world, something unique, your own light. And from there, you start to appreciate yourself, love yourself. Because it's really beautiful that if you can see yourself in other people, but it's also important, how do you treat yourself? If you don't treat yourself with love, the same way you will treat the other people. So it all starts with the love of the self.
Oh yeah, they spoke about that yesterday, no? That the main principle of treating others like how you want to be treated or how you treat yourself. But this is often what people forget. No, like you said, if I treat people like I treat myself, but if I'm so hard on myself, or I'm not good to myself, or I don't allow myself to be myself, or then if I treat others the same way, it's still going to be messed up. Yes or no? I can be beating people up, saying, yeah, but I beat myself up also, so then what is wrong with that? Well, so yes, honoring that life in you is the first step. And like Rowena was saying, if I can add that one thing that just came into my mind, that when you truly allow yourself to be just the way you are, leaving aside what people may think or expect of you or ask of you, but fully, okay, this is how I am, and that's perfectly fine, then that will also allow you to give other people the space to truly be themselves. And you may have noticed this. If someone is really authentic in their presence, you also feel more at ease. Yes or no? You create the space, therefore, for others to, because they see, oh, I can also just be myself. It's fine. People who are very artificial or very conscious of whether how they behave or how they look, or in their presence, you also become more conscious. Yeah.
Let it sink in. And how do you get to know yourself? It's important to listen. And how do you listen? When you talk to other people. Are you really listening, or are you already in your mind coming up with an answer? Meditation is also a form of listening. What do you really want? And why are you so afraid of what other people will think about you? We all have this. And the funny thing is that if everybody is busy thinking what other people think about them, nobody is actually thinking about you. And in this world, we have so many flavors. You think everybody will like you? Why?
Not possible.
You can't make everybody happy. But there's one person you can make happy. And that's yourself.
Actually, you are the only one that can truly make yourself happy. No? Even in the Upanishads, they say this. I'm just reminded of that. Kashtasya sukasya nakopi data. Which means nobody is actually the giver of happiness or sadness. It is our own conditioning. In the end, people may treat you so nicely, but if we don't feel comfortable within ourselves, or when someone may come with a gift and you may think, oh, they have something against me, maybe it's poisoned, or, yes or no? It's all about how we experience the things. And like Rowena was saying, that listening to the body. What does my body really want or need right now? Not what I think it should do or what. And in the moment it can differ. The best yoga practice, if some of you have done, for example, with the asanas, is when you're able to say, okay, in this moment, what does my body need? Some days maybe you need a little bit more of stretching, or you need a more rigorous exercise. Some days relaxation may be what it needs. So rather than just going on autopilot, being able to...
Sometimes dance.
Many times dance.
Yeah, many times.
What does the mind need? What does it want? If it keeps throwing tantrums, okay. Instead of what you think or what should be, are we able to sit and say, okay, but... It's like with the children sometimes, like you were saying. The small child sometimes may throw so many tantrums, but actually all it wants is just to be seen. For a moment, if you can really be with it, it becomes perfectly quiet. He just wanted to be, it's like, I'm here.
So when you have really a lot of thoughts, what can help is to write them down so you can see them.
And you may see then which thoughts are my own. Not like you were saying once. When you write it all, so many things going through your head, you may see, oh, but actually this is my father talking. This is what he always used to say, or this is what my teacher used to tell me, or this is what... So you start seeing that we have all this conditioning that we have accumulated. Okay, but this is not me, or this is not. Okay, then what is really you? What does not serve you, you can let it go.
And yesterday there was also a question about thoughts, right? Do you want to specify it more?
The role of thoughts, no? Was it? Okay, maybe we can say it in the mic once, everybody can hear, and then. Okay, otherwise just say it a little loudly. I can repeat it here.
Working now.
Okay,
It's working now.
It needed a little bit of Shakti.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity and remembering what we talked about at the end yesterday. So I'm really, really resonating with everything you shared yesterday and everything you've shared already today.
Thank
But
God.
the one thing that keeps coming to mind, though, is the role of thought. Where is the role of thought in all of this? You can't write down all the thoughts you have every day because you have 100,000, thousands. It's thousands, isn't it? But I just like you to talk to that a little bit about thought, the role of thought, and yeah, can you expand on that, please? Thank you.
Yeah. So what we meant, first of all, don't keep writing all day. Sometimes it may be nice, like she was saying yesterday, for example, when you wake up and there's so many things going through your head, sometimes it helps to sit 15, 20 minutes, because then it also, it slows down the mind and you can actually see what is happening, what is going through. No? And you can do it any other time in the day, but...
And it can help you to recognize patterns. But the main thing is actually it's not so difficult. It is that why are thoughts so difficult? Because we believe in them. I actually want to dance there too. Like I'm really distracted.
Parties going
like,
on, yeah.
I can feel my heart. I want like, okay, sorry. But like that is the thing. Like we pay more attention to our thoughts than to our being. Why cannot we believe the feeling we get when we hear this music, like that aliveness, like, oh yes, I can feel the vibration. And why are we so distracted? Because of our thoughts. Because we have lived that way so many lives. So don't be hard on yourself, like, yeah, I should get rid of them. You're somehow programmed like that. But the more you can feel your aliveness, your Shakti, the more you will value your being. And the less you will value your thoughts. And why do you value your thoughts? Because you have made you remember what we were talking about yesterday, your own favorite series on Netflix is a story you are telling yourself in your head. And we don't do it consciously, but we keep feeding the story actually with our thoughts. And sometimes when you're aware, then you're like, wait, what is happening? This thought I'm having, is it really contributing to me, myself? The real self? Because you have all kind of roles, right? And for the mind really wants to be safe. Why do you think we are so afraid of change? We like to be in a comfort zone. Everybody wants freedom. Freedom! But you need change for that. And that is really
It's
terrifying.
scary, yeah.
It's
It's
scary.
unknown.
But that's life. Jump. Then you can taste life really as it is.
And we spoke about yesterday, no, the giving importance. No? Like we saw that with the dream, if we don't give any importance to it, that doesn't give a lasting impression. There are many things you do in a day, they don't leave an impression on you. When you're brushing your teeth, you may be having your meal. If we ask you, what did you eat 1 week ago for lunch? You may not remember. Unless it was something special, where you gave it some extra attention or importance, then you may remember. Otherwise, it doesn't. So, many thoughts come from these impressions. No? Just like you may have had this experience. You find a new Netflix series you really like, you binge watch it, and then you keep, the song keeps coming in your head, or some things keep popping into your head. So that is why also, they say that whatever you take in through the senses is a kind of food. It's food for the mind. So what do you feed it? Because then the quality of thoughts change. And like Rowena was saying, and we were saying that the mind can be your friend or your enemy. So if you treat it nicely, if you feed it the right things, it can be a great support. So the role of thought there, as we say, the role of the mind, because the mind is the thought. Thoughts come from the mind, or actually, mind is the thoughts, because it's all consciousness, but that quality of consciousness that produces the thoughts we call mind, you can say, in one way. So then the role is what you give it. Thought can be something that leads you back to the truth. Like some of the things we discuss here, for some of you may sometimes give you this thing that it propels you a little closer to your truth. So then thought can be very valuable. It's not a bad thing. Mind is not a bad thing. But it can also be a distraction. It can be an impediment, an obstacle. And you may have found that the higher your energy, when we talk about this sattva, the higher your energy is, the less thoughts you have. Have you noticed this? If your energy goes very low, you have more thoughts. And also like more what we call negative, not the doubts, that it's self-doubt or other things, or you feel more stressed or anxious. If your energy is higher, you slept well. So in that way, you can play with it. But there's no point in discussing whether we should have thoughts or not, because they are there. No, like we were saying, it is a part of you. So that is why to see that this is in the end nothing but a manifestation of Shakti. So even if you get so many strange or random thoughts, or thoughts that you feel are unpleasant, if you're able to see also at that point that, but this is also nothing but that same energy expressing itself or herself in this form, then without resisting it, or you're allowing it to be there. And that is the beauty. In the scriptures they say that there is a beautiful chant also where they sing the praise of the Devi, the Divine Mother, the Shakti. And it has so many forms. They say, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu. Some of you may have heard these mantras. And then there are many ways. They say, Shanti Rupena Sanstita. Like, she's present in us in the form of peace. But also in the form of nidra, sleep. In the form of hunger and thirst. In all these forms. Whether it is love, or kindness, or anger, or irritation. In the end, it is that one cosmic energy. And that is life. That is Shiva.
And I was thinking, you were talking about a song. Whenever you listen to a song, do you analyze the words? Or you just are with the song? Perhaps you can try that, like see your thoughts as a song.
Yeah, dancing with the mind that way. No? When a beautiful, when you listen to the music, you don't analyze the notes or the words, or you just enjoy it, right? Is it an intellectual process or is it more of a feeling process? If you enjoy it, it's a feeling, right? You're being present with it. In the moment you enjoy. So like that, can you be present and enjoy your thoughts? Or your emotions? Where anger is the same dancer but then with a different color dress.
There's a question.
So I thinking, feeling as well. I'm trying to do both, based on what you're talking about, and what I'm getting is the overthinking thoughts, and we need to move more to our body and be more embodied. And a lot of us, including myself, have been living from the mind, and I personally want to get more in touch, with my body and being embodied, but not so familiar with it. And initially, my thought was, actually, there's kind of it's a bit like a learning to speak or learning to listen, as you're a baby. It's a learning process, and kind of based on trial and error, try something out. That if that doesn't work, then give it up and then try something different. So it's kind of a learning process to be able to do that. And then it kind of moved on to it's kind of like a dance as well. So maybe I was being too analytical, too kind of structured in terms of it's a learning process. It's more of a kind of a dance when you're kind of getting into some kind of
not taking it too seriously.
Not too seriously.
Like a child.
Yeah, and kind of somehow feeling your way through.
Exactly. When you're in the mind, oh, hi, mind, and then you go back.
Yeah.
The way you go back is really important.
Yeah. And the other thing that came up to me was around risk taking and fear. So it's wanting to get everything right.
Yeah.
And then having what I felt was being able to surrender. So surrender and for some things it's just you can't control everything, and then
you can hardly control anything.
Yeah. So that's the kind of things I'm feeling and getting. And is that kind of on the track, or is there kind of anything missing from that?
See, I can share one personal thing here. First of all, don't worry about going off the track, because this is your track. Everyone's path is unique, and every step you take, if you keep walking, a path is formed, right? So the path is not yet there. You are making the path. But I can really relate to one thing you just said. I mean, many things, but one thing in particular, because for me also at some point, I came to a point in life where I realized that if I really follow my intuition, someone was asking about that also. If I really, for a moment, if I forget about all the things that I have maybe read or heard, or what people have told me, or what people expect of me, or what I think people expect of me, and I would just sit by myself and ask, okay, delete everybody for a moment. Right now, if I could choose, if I had all the freedom, what would I like to do? How would this life in me like to express itself? And some things came up. I'm very passionate about mantras. I want to do more with mantras, to go deeper into this knowledge, also share it with people, as one of the examples of the things that came up. Then I thought, okay, what is stopping me? Because at any point, actually, we have total freedom. There may be a risk involved, but if you say, now I want to go to Africa and build a hut there, technically you can. You may need to get some resources, but we may not, because of whatever, you have responsibilities or other things. So I realized that, okay, this is what I would love to do. Now that required me to make some changes in my life. And then there is this thing which we all experience at different times, where a fear may come up, like you said, and if you go deep into it, you realize it's that fear of making a wrong decision or a wrong choice. Somewhere we have this concept that if we get everything right, we tick all the boxes, then we reach where we are either supposed to reach or whatever. But otherwise, we may not. And then it may be because otherwise you go to hell or something else happens or you have to reincarnate or we have all kinds of scenarios. But this fundamental feeling inside or conditioning that it's possible to make wrong choices and then it doesn't end well or you don't reach where you want to reach. And then I was sitting with that and I was feeling and I thought, no, but when you have these glimpses where you experience that this is all nothing but a play and display of that one universal consciousness, it is Shakti that is manifesting as all of this creation. Thought is also arising from that life force energy, from the consciousness. So if all of that is anyway not in my control, no, you have not decided one day that now I'm going to pursue this. You've not decided I'm now going to have these kind of thoughts of inclination. It has come from within you, right? So if you really look at it, it's not in your control. It's a happening. By being, it is happening. So then I felt, but then where is a place there for a wrong choice? And suddenly something popped up, and I could really relate to it. It may help you as well. Is that this whole thing of destiny and free will, no? That some things are fixed, some karmas are fixed. This life you're a male gender, or you're British or whatever you may be, you're born in a certain family. You cannot change those things this life, right? Certain things are fixed. But certain things we have a freedom, no? So it's this duality of choice, free will, and destiny, or whatever you want to call it. And suddenly I felt that, maybe it is like a mother taking her child to the playground and then saying, okay, you can play here for a few hours. Now the child cannot leave that playground or the festival ground or whatever. So some things are fixed. There are certain walls, certain boundaries. But within that, it has choices. You want to go on the slide, on the swing, play in the sand. You can choose. But there is no wrong choice. So the child has choices, but there is no wrong choice. The beauty is that you get to choose. You can say, okay, right now, today, I feel like going on the swing. Today, I want to play in the sand. So the life, like what we were talking about, there is a life force in you, that Shakti, that wants to express, that is here to express, that has a unique opportunity to express itself in its own unique manner.
And let me say something maybe very scary, but what if God also doesn't have a plan? What if it just unfolds?
Actually, that's wonderful. I mean, it may be scary when you think the whole thing is not planned, but you have that, in a way, total freedom to be who you are, to express yourself. So then that fear of risk, because risk means you can lose something. But if you are being who you are, what is there to lose? This is good to be with. You don't have to answer right now. You can't also. But because this will allow you to peel away all those layers. Whether it is the expectations of others that you're worried about or whatever it may be. But it's very valuable to inquire into this.
And when you lose something, that's also a process, because then you realize, I was never in control.
And what you truly are, you cannot lose.
And then the surrender starts. Like, okay.
Yeah.
If you really suffer a lot, then there comes a point that, I don't know. Please take over. Guide me. And the mind, would like to have a map. Like, you have to go that way, that way. But when it's dark, how do you walk? Little steps, right?
One step at a time.
And just like that, when you're feeling lost, or confused, it's also a form of Shakti.
Bhranti rupena samstita. Yeah. Shall we meditate? We'll meditate for some time, and then after that, we have time, we can take another 1 or 2 questions. But are you able to relate to some of this, or I know it's early. It's not too abstract, right? Or is it? It's helpful? Okay. Well, that is nice. That's good. So what we'll do, like yesterday, we will start with a simple pranayama, breathing technique called Brahmari pranayama, just to soothe the nervous system even more. And then we'll guide you through a meditation. And maybe tomorrow we can talk about it a little bit more about meditation. But basically, of course, we spoke about it a bit yesterday also, but for those who have joined today, the art of doing nothing, letting go. No need to visualize, focus, concentrate, just be. We'll give some simple instructions to aid in that process, but by all means, don't put a lot of effort or try too hard. Nothing to do. Okay, so what we'll do first is for the pranayama, you can, if you wish, place your index fingers on there's a small cartilage, the flap of the ear, and then we gently press it in and out, so we open and close the ears that way, and we make a humming sound. So we breathe in and out through the nose. While breathing out, we say, little loudly, and then moving the fingers in and out. So, like this. Inside your head, it'll sound like wow, wow, wow. You can make it more pretty than it is, but it's very effective to soothe the nervous system, calm the mind. We'll do this 5 times, taking a deep breath in and then breathing out, making the sound. With the eyes closed. After that, you continue to keep the eyes closed. You can relax your hands, your arms, and then we'll guide you through the meditation. So let us close our eyes. First, take a normal transitional breath in and breathe out. 5 times we'll do Brahmari. Breathe in. You may relax your arms. And for a moment, observe the vibrations in the head, in the body. You may feel some tingling sensations in your face or palms of your hands or somewhere else. Whatever sensations may be there, just let them be. Just become aware of them. Breathe in and breathe out. Once more, breathe in and slowly breathe out. The incoming breath energizes the body, and the outgoing breath relaxes the body. Become aware of this phenomenon happening all the time. And with every exhalation, you relax more and more. For a few moments, keep the body totally still. The only movement in the body right now is that of the breath, which is going in and out of the body on its own, effortlessly. The rest of the body is totally still. Now become aware of the noises in the environment. The sound of people talking in the distance or singing. Sound of the generators. Whatever noises may be there, do not resist. Just become aware of them for a moment and let them be. Let go. Allow all the noises to be there. Breathe in and breathe out. If any thoughts are coming up in the mind, again, do not resist. Whether it is good thoughts or bad thoughts, let them be there. Let them come and go on their own. You are just a witness to them. They are leaving you untouched. The thoughts are like the waves on the surface of the ocean, rising up and dissolving again, but leaving the depth of the ocean untouched and undisturbed. You are like the ocean, vast and deep, and untouched by your thoughts, feelings, and situations and circumstances. You have always been there, and you will always be there. Eternal, pure, and untouched. A silent witness to this creation. This moment, there is nothing to do and nothing to know. Let go of all effort and relax. Just be in this moment. Breathe in and breathe out and relax more and more. Let go of all effort and just be here now. Once more, breathe in. And slowly breathe out. Become aware of your body and the surroundings. If you wish, you may move your fingers a little. And then very slowly and gradually, taking your own time, whenever you feel complete, you may open your eyes again. But take your time.
That was an interesting background. We have 5 minutes.
How would you like to spend those? We can just be, or maybe what we briefly spoke about yesterday. We can touch upon it again today, and tomorrow we'll go deeper into it. But how silence is more than just the absence of sound or words. It's the field within which these sounds can come up, can dissolve again. So even when you hear a lot of noises, that doesn't mean the silence is not there. It's just that when there is no noise, it may be a little easier initially to feel it or perceive it. And the same is with Shiva and Shakti, that Shakti is dancing, Shiva is silent presence, but more and more you will see that they go together. The dance happens within the space. And that is when more and more you will feel, experience that even in a place where it may be very noisy. No, we've had this experience, very beautiful. It may be so noisy. But then amidst that noise, you can actually hear or feel the silence. It's still there. Just like in a room full of people, there may come a point where you can still see the space, even though the space is filled with people, but the space is still there. And when we spoke about that transition, that maybe when you sit and meditate or you do your yoga or something else, you feel very peaceful, you feel very centered or in touch with yourself or with life. And then you go out into the world of activity and it feels somewhere you may lose it or it's not so tangible. More and more you will find that even in that state of activity, it's still very much possible to continue to experience that space of being, presence. And it is exactly what, like you said, no, what Krishna also symbolizes. Yesterday in the conversation also, what was mentioned, that the Bhagavad Gita was given in the battlefield. This knowledge is not for when you have nothing to do. It is exactly, it is to live dynamically.
And actually, the easiest way is to fall in love with yourself and therefore with life. Because when you're in love with somebody, do you need to focus to think about it? No, right?
Yeah. That's a nice note to end on. Love letter. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your presence.
Namaste.
Oh yeah, every Wednesday.
Yes,
we
so
can-
tomorrow we have one more session, same time, same place. Then we look a little bit more into this aspect also of the silence and the beauty, seeing the beauty of life, of everything. And like we mentioned yesterday, for those who would like, we have started an initiative first in Dutch, because we're based in the Netherlands, but now we're also expanding it. We'll have an English one as well, where every night, every Wednesday night for now, from 8 to 9, your local time, in the evening, we come together online with people from wherever, because it's online, it's easy, they can log in. And we spend 1 hour where we come together, share our presence, we meditate for some time, and then also we share a little bit more of knowledge from the Vedic tradition about being. So the website is justbe.org, just how you spell it, justbe.org. It's a free initiative, so anybody can just join. There's an online discussion forum also, where then we share some of the things that we've discussed in the session. We can continue talking about it, or people can share their things, experiences. But the main thing is that we want to connect the people. That also we can talk about a little bit more tomorrow, that the importance of the group, the Sangha, collective. But where we come together live to meditate together, because you find that it's a different field, different energy, not just for yourself, but it also has that positive effect on the people around you on the whole. So we started that some months ago, about 5-6 months ago in the Netherlands, and such beautiful experiences. So we thought we'll do this internationally also now. This is a nice place to kickstart it. So feel free to join us. So we didn't want to pre-record things or put it on an app or something. It's really about being together live. So it's a little commitment. You cannot watch it later, but then it has definitely an impact. So we invite you all to share your presence there with us as well.
Thank you. Namaste.